Welcome, welcome. It's great to have you here today. Did you know you can use options as sort of a cheat code to see where prices are expected to move, probability-wise, in a given week, in a month from now? I'm going to show you that today. Now, of course, it works in tandem with chart reading. If you have basic chart reading skills, you can also see where there's high chances that the price will move towards. So be on the lookout for future videos more on chart reading. But today we're going to look at options. If you're at all interested in seeing how you can use options to generate extra cash week after week, check out the link in the description below. It's called the Snack Income System, 5 steps on teaching beginners how you can make this happen. Let's jump right in. Today, so we're gonna look at UPS. I like UPS stock, especially during the holidays. People need their gifts delivered. And if you look at UPS, we're sitting at about 95, and this is the daily view. So we're looking at the chart, and I know I said I will jump into options and show you the tricks and tips to finding probabilities with options, but this is just a little bit of background context, so please stay with me. Daily view, if we zoom out, we have the price sitting at it was low down here about 42, and that was way long ago. So after 2020, it's gone up, right? So it's gone up a good 156, and then since then it went back down, and we're touching at around the same price as 2020. That was when COVID happened. Now, if we go to the yearly chart, okay, we can see that there are gaps up here. So the price at 95, there's a gap up here, which is magnetic. So I'm expecting prices to at least get up to 101. There's another gap up here. A gap is just a pocket of air where prices generally like to close that gap. So there's a gap and it likes to go to the top where it fell and close that gap. A gap is considered unfinished business. And I talk about that in my previous videos on gaps. And so here the price is 133.50. So can you imagine eventually if it does close that gap, we're looking at a good 41% move. All right. So with that little bit of context in mind, let's jump to our options. Back to the options chain, we're looking at UPS. I showed you earlier. And we're going to change the expiration date. All right. So currently it's for next Friday. So today is, let's take a look at the calendar, 7th. And so the expiration for this week is the 12th. Let's do the monthly. The monthly options always expire on the third week, 1, 2, 3. So that would expire on the 19th. And if you look at the 19th, M is for monthly. The next one is M on January 16th of next year. Everything else are weekly expirations in between. I'm gonna choose the 19th. And again, the price sits at 95, right? So if we look at the 95 column, you can see that anything above is green, anything below is white, right? And we're looking at the call options, right? So if you were to be a call option buyer, which by the way, I don't recommend buying options because if you're buying options, you're just betting, right? If you're selling the options, you're the casino selling to gamblers and just collecting premium payouts at a regular period, right? So if you're doing weeklies, you collect it every week. If you're doing monthlies, then you collect it once a month. But say you are buying the call option and it's 95 and you expect the price to go up to $101, right? So you buy the call option and if the price goes up to $101, right, then it's moving favorably in your direction and your option prices that you paid for will increase in value as well. So what is the chance that UPS will finish above $101 by December 19th? Just going back to that chart, remember there's a gap at about 102. Let's see, right about there, 101.50, just say about 101. All right, because there's a gap close right there, and then there's a horizontal resistance right about there. So 101.35, switching back, and there is a column, only one column that you simply have to take a look at, which is the delta column. The delta gives you a rough idea of the probability that the stock will finish above $101. And if you take a look at this, there's roughly a 0.1224 chance. Multiply that by 100, and so it gives you roughly a 12% chance. Not very good odds that the price will finish above 101 by December 19th. And of course, as you go up the chain, right, the price, what's the probability that it will finish at 100? It goes up to 15, finishes at 99.20, and you can see that as it gets closer to 95, the probability goes up, up, up. Now, of course, this probability isn't guaranteed. This is just giving you a rough idea. So you want to couple it with reading chart skills as well, right? The reading chart skills will give you better buy entry prices, better profit target levels. Once you understand how to do basic chart reading, that will give you an invaluable edge as well. But there's also put options as well. So if we expected the $95 current price to move up to 101 by that expiration date, 12/19, and the probability is 12%, we can also look at the opposite side. What strike price, what price do we expect the price to land on the downside at 12% probability? So if we look at the put options and look at the delta column, right? So we're at the 95 here. Well, by December 19th, if we go down the delta column and try to get as close to the 12%, that would be 13.69%. And so we expect UPS to maybe finish at $89 from 95 to 89 at roughly about 13.69% chance, close to the 12% chance. And this is on the other side, right? The price falling, not increasing. That's it. I wanted to show you the options chain, looking at the delta column. That way you can use the delta as a rough estimate where you expect prices could possibly land by that expiration date. And you can couple it with chart reading, basic chart reading skills to navigate prices, to find where there are good price targets that you can also sell some of your shares and take profits. I hope you found today's information helpful and useful for your future trading. If you did, please feel free to subscribe so I can see you in upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.